Invincible Season 2 has finally finished its run on Amazon Prime, the animated, ultra-violent superhero show based on the Robert Kirkman comic book. 8 episodes, around 50 minutes each, and let me start off by saying that the release schedule for this show has been pretty abysmal. First of all, the gap between the first and second seasons was over 2.5 years. The first season came out all the way back in 2021, which by itself is enough to kill a lot of the hype. And speaking personally for myself, I managed to forget a lot of the details in terms of who the characters are and what the side plots were. But then on top of that, Amazon released the first 4 episodes of the new season in November, and then had another gap of 5 months before putting out the next 4. Rumor has it they've done it cynically to wait for their new ad-supported plan to kick in, when people were already hooked on half the show. But I have to say, it's just been a nightmare if you wanted to get excited about the show and really follow it as it was coming out. And I fear if that sort of thing happens again with the next seasons, the audiences might as well just get bored and in the meantime and move on with their lives. Anyway, the show itself picks up exactly where the first season ended. Omni-Man has left Earth and gone God knows where, leaving Mark to pick up the pieces of his life and figure out what to do, what's next for himself, for his family, and for Earth as a whole, as a planet. Meanwhile, the other superheroes have new battles to fight and new enemies to stop. Mark's relationship with Amber gets rocky, and there's a new supervillain with the ability to jump across worlds in the multiverse, who sets his sights on Invincible. So overall, I'd say the show is still mostly as strong as the first season, which is to say pretty damn good. It lacks that surprise factor, obviously, because the first season relied a lot on setting up familiar tropes within the first episode and then very quickly, very violently and very shockingly destroying those expectations. And there's not that much surprise factor this time around, but the writing is still solid. I like the arc that Mark is taken on. Some of the side plots were cool. Some others I didn't care for as much, like the whole Guardians dynamic felt a lot like filler to me, but I'm willing to wait and see where that goes in the next seasons. Maybe it develops into something worthwhile. The voice cast continues to be absolutely amazing. There's an unbelievable amount of great actors, even in small roles, and it's really a joy to have them do all these voices, especially as the dialogue itself is also generally rather good. However, when it comes to animation, I maintain my opinion from the first season, which is that it's honestly kind of shit. Or maybe not shit, maybe I went too far, but it's just very average, pedestrian, mediocre. There are individual scenes, individual frames even in some of the key fight sequences that make you go, okay, that looks pretty, but otherwise, even just the style is incredibly bland. It looks like a low-budget Saturday morning cartoon from the 1990s. There's nothing distinct about it. And I have to address the joke which is made in episode 7, which breaks the fourth wall and lampshades the wait time between seasons by directly stating that the animation takes a long time and a lot of effort, and to even do it at this level, that the key scenes look great, their words, not mine, they have to cut corners elsewhere, and then they sort of jokingly but also directly show you examples of that. Now, I've seen people on the internet exclusively love that joke. Ha ha ha, so funny, they lampshade this, and apparently it was also in the comic book in a different version. But I was like, this is pathetic. You're making a point that you take a lot of time to do the animation, and this is the best you can come up with. It's honestly kind of embarrassing to point the audience's attention to that, and also to make a point of all the cost-cutting techniques. I feel that is disrespectful to the audience. It's like saying, look at all these things we deliberately half-assed, and you still like the show. And again, for some reason, a lot of people do like it, not just the joke, but the animation overall. I've seen a ton of positive comments online. I don't know if these people are blind or what, but honestly, just go check out Arcane or Spider-Verse or Cyberpunk Edge Runners or basically any anime out of Japan. and then try to tell me that Invincible looks good. It doesn't, not by any stretch. Having said that though, I still think it's a good show, even though it looks unimpressive. The writing and voice cast are solid, and I am engaging with the story and the characters, which makes me want to watch more. So overall it is solid, but not perfect. And yeah, I do hope that the next season comes along faster than 2027, because by then I might not care anymore.